According to new revelations from the Washington Post at the end of this past week, Donald Trump paid more than $1.3 million to two separate firms, one of them a law firm, one of them a electronic research group by the name of Berkeley Research Group. After the 2020 election, $1.3 million between the two of them, and said, "Y'all are my wings, go out there and fly around the country and find me that voter fraud so I can take this election back." Both groups went out there and did their thing. I've mentioned the Berkeley Research Group report before because Berkeley came back and was like, "Yeah, we got nothing. We looked at everything you told us to look at. You gave us a lot of money. We're appreciative of that. But nothing you're saying is true. We can't verify a single bit of it." That's what we had already known. Washington Post told us this week that there was a second group, the second group I mentioned, that was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was a law firm, Simpatico Software Systems. Ken Block studied more than a dozen voter fraud theories and allegations for Trump's campaign in late 2020 and found they were all false, according to lawyers. Block previously ran for governor in Rhode Island as a Republican, didn't win. Here's what he said. "No substantive voter fraud was uncovered in my investigations looking for it, nor was I able to confirm any of the outside claims of voter fraud that I was asked to look at. Every fraud claim I was asked to investigate was false." So Donald Trump shells out hundreds of thousands of dollars to these two groups. Both of them come back and say, everything that you have said to us, everything you wanted to look at was a lie. You sent us, you paid us well, we appreciate that. You sent us on a wild goose chase, and wouldn't you know it, we're coming back telling you, hey, there's no wild geese. You're gooseless. You got nothing. Everything you're saying is a lie. That's pretty bold. It also, by the way, undermines the only possible legal defense Donald Trump could have if Jack Smith indicts him for election interference in the 2020 election, attempting to overturn it and all of that. Because, as I've said repeatedly, and I'm pretty sure I've said this too, legally speaking, if Donald Trump goes in there and can prove that he legitimately thought the election was stolen, that would be his only possible legal defense that would make his actions at the time, in the eyes of the law, not in my eyes, but in the eyes of the law, somewhat legitimate and might get him off. So now all we have to do is make sure that Jack Smith gets his hands on this information. Now, we can't just walk up to Jack Smith and hand it to him. We would need somebody like Ken Block to go and talk to Jack Smith. Uh-oh. He also confessed he was subpoenaed by Smith's office and met with the prosecutors, but he wouldn't reveal what he said. So Jack Smith was already one step ahead of us, possibly more than one step ahead of us, folks. Jack Smith knew that these studies existed, and he knew that he needed to talk to the people who conducted them, which means Jack Smith obviously knows a hell of a lot more than I do, but he knows that Trump's only possible defense is to claim that he thought the fraud was real. Now he's going to have that in his ammunition that, wait a minute, you knew it wasn't real because I've talked to the people that you hired that told you personally and handed you the reports that said everything is BS. I'm almost speechless. Because Jack Smith knows what he is doing. And if he is already at the point where he is working on ways to counter a possible Trump defense, then that is the strongest indicator we have had yet that this man, Jack Smith, is definitely going to indict Donald Trump. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.